There are reports that say that you have the lowest approval rating of any vice president. I'm curious how much of a role, if any, that you feel race and gender play in that.
Well, there are polls that also say I have great approval ratings.
Simply not true.
Did you hear her answer? Before we get into this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you guys could please share so we could get the word out there. You see that this interviewer just tried to throw her a little softball, even said, hey, doesn't have anything to do with your gender or your race, just trying to help her out a little bit. And what does she say? Oh, there's also some polls that show really good approval ratings. No, they are non-existent. Where are they at? Because I've never seen them. At the end of the day, she knows that. And still, the interviewer tried to help her out, and she still couldn't do it. Here, watch the last little part of the interview. This lady is ridiculous.
Well, there are polls that also say I have great approval ratings. I think the point that has to be made is that there are attempts to create distractions away from the accomplishments of our administration.
And then she quadruples down. Oh, you know, the great accomplishments of our administration. What would those be? The highest inflation in like the last 40 years. The first time ever in history where this nation averaged $5 a gallon for unleaded. Has never happened in history. You had everything else going on. You had world wars and all that. Never has it reached what it did under them. Just all these problems now. Now you can have World War III. You have Ukraine and Russia. Perhaps real soon you'll have China and Taiwan. What accomplishments?
If you could do anything at all, Joe, what would you do? I said I'd cure cancer. And they looked at me like, why cancer? Because no one thinks we can. That's why, and we can. We'd end the cancer as we know it. We'd end the cancer as we know it.
What? When did that happen?
And then there's one last gem. Look at this.
Not to mention what we have done to restore America's integrity on the international stage.
I just gotta crack up. What are you on the international stage? Does she forget that Joe went to Saudi Arabia to beg them to heighten up oil production because all this crazy nonsense they've done, and he hits them with the fist bump. He doesn't even get a handshake. You've seen all this stuff where he goes and talks to these world leaders and that he's fallen asleep in front of them, or just some of them are completely tuning him out or trying to lead him where to go. And she has her audacity to talk about on the international stage. But then she says, great approval ratings. Where? Where are these great approval ratings? I'll see Santa before I see these amazing approval ratings that she speaks of. Nobody likes what they're selling, period. They keep trying to force you to buy this old Cadillac with 300,000 miles on it, 3 donuts, no AC, but it has an amazing CD player. That's what they're trying to sell you. I don't want it. We don't want it. Nobody wants it. The lady just tries she could have even injected race, because you know they put race into everything. She's having this debate in Florida and she's making up all this stuff once again. There's no such thing as books being banned. You can still go and purchase these books. They just don't want the children reading some of these books. And if a lot of people go and look at these books, they'll be like, oh wow, adults shouldn't even be reading them. Some people went to like meetings with the city council and have brought the books and read it, and the city council, no, we can't say that in here. Oh, you don't want to hear it, but you want the kids to see it. So once again, they like to make up and like do all this stuff and cherry pick their way, but it's just not there. Look at what the Hill had to say. You had Kamala Harris sets record low for vice president net favorability. And this is everywhere. Nobody cares for these policies. And then she just laughs everything off. The Venn diagram, the circles, all this stuff that she's talking about.
You know, the circles, right? 3 usually.
Nobody wants to hear it. People want to see solid policy and things that are going on in the world being fixed and have the government stay out of their lives. And they have done none of this. And the polls reflecting that. So they keep trying to sell this Cadillac like I was talking about, but nobody wants it because they see all the flaws. So she should have just owned up to it. People will respect that even more. Just own up to it. But no, then she quadruple, like I said, doubles down with all of this stuff. And oh, they're just, the great accomplishments and all that. Why don't you tell us about these amazing accomplishments? Let's hear about all this stuff because everything's so great, but the American people don't see it that way. So maybe just the messaging just isn't out there. Or maybe just scratch your head for this for a minute. Maybe people know that what you're selling isn't reality and they see the real world for what it is and things aren't looking too hot.
I know you gotta be frustrated. I know. I can taste it.
So tell me your guys' thoughts about all this. Can you guys believe that she had the audacity to say that, even the interviewer just looking like she's completely in shock at what she's saying? Or do you guys think that somewhere out there mysteriously, like we're gonna find like a big golden nugget in the middle of Alaska somewhere just buried deep underneath these great approval ratings that she speaks of? I would love to see it because I haven't seen it. Nobody's seen it, including herself, and she knows that. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you guys could please share so we can get all this ridiculous information out there so we can all watch together. And I will catch you guys on the next one.